Recording in
Yes,
progress.
right. Law of supply and demand. Law of supply and demand లో ఫస్ట్ వన్ సార్ ఎందుకు లా ఆఫ్ సప్లై అండ్ డిమాండ్ మనం చేయాలంటే ప్రైస్ డెసిషన్స్ మస్ట్ కన్సిడర్ ద రిలేషన్షిప్ ఆఫ్ సప్లై అండ్ డిమాండ్ కన్సిడర్ చేయాలి. జనరల్లీ రిలేషన్షిప్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది అంటే సో డిమాండ్ ఈజ్ ఇన్వర్స్లీ రిలేటెడ్ టు ప్రైస్. యాజ్ ద ప్రైస్ ఇంక్రీజెస్ డిమాండ్ విల్ డిక్రీజ్. యాజ్ ద ప్రైస్ డిక్రీజెస్ డిమాండ్ విల్ ఇంక్రీజ్. Supply is directly related to price. As the price increases, supply will increase. As price decreases, supply will decrease. Market. So actually, market is a place where the buyer and seller come together. Buyer creates the demand, seller creates the supply. So this is the introduction and meaning. Demand is nothing but willing and able to buy. So how many persons are willing and able to buy this product or service? That is nothing but demand. Supply is nothing but so able to make or available for sale. So how many number of goods or services are available to sale? That is nothing but supply. So demand. So law of demand. Law of demand is nothing but demand increases as price falls and decreases as price rises. So always the demand curve is slope downwards from left to right. From left to right, it is slope downwards. That is the demand curve. So next. So factors affecting demand. The substitution effect. Substitution effect has effect. If the price falls of the substitution product, the demand will fall. So the demand will fall. So at the same time, income effect. The income of the people rises, the demand will rise. For example, and also exception is law of diminishing marginal utility. So consumer buy in the low prices, but subjected to conditions. Expansion, increase or decrease of demand, nothing but expansion and contraction of demand. If price increases, demand will fall. If price decreases, demand will rise. So whatever the curve shift, the leftward movement is nothing but contraction of demand. Rightward movement of the curve is the expansion of demand, increase of demand. So shift in demand. So there is no change in price, but the demand got increased. It is a positive shift. There is no change in the price of my product, but the demand decreased. It is a negative shift. Negative shift. Why it got decreased? These are the reasons. First one, person, states, and population. The population got increased in the place. That the demand got increased. Then it is a positive shift of the curve. The population got decreased. The population tagipayindi. Then demand will decrease. It is a negative shift in the curve. Income increased for the normal goods. Then demand will increase. Positive shift. If income decreases, demand will decrease. Negative shift. Exception, in case of inferior goods, even though if the income increase, there is a fall in demand. The price of related goods, substitute goods, tea and coffee, the price of the product falls, the demand will decrease. Negative shift. Complementary goods, the price of one goods increases, of the complementary goods increase, the demand will also increase of my goods. So it is a positive shift. And expectation of the buyers or expectation of the price. If the price increase in the future, then the demand will increase. So demand shift, actually price increases, demand decreases. No, there is no shift, actually there is an increase or decrease in demand. But if the price of the substitute goods increases, demand will increase. Positive shift. If the price of the substitute good decreases, demand decreases. Negative shift. The price of complementary goods increase, demand decrease. Negative shift. The price of the complementary goods decrease, demand increases. Positive shift. Income of the normal goods increases, demand increase. Positive shift. Income of the normal goods decreases, demand decrease. Negative shift. Income of the inferior goods increases, demand will decrease. Negative shift. Size of the market increase, demand increase. Positive shift. Size of the market decrease, demand decrease. Negative shift. Price of the expectations or future price may increase, demand will increase. Positive shift. Future price may decrease as price expectations, demand decrease. Negative shift. Substitution product have an inverse relationship, complementary has a direct relationship. Okay. Shift in demand, sir. Shift in demand, sir, actually we have not increased the price, but there is a shift in demand. Rightward shift is an increase in demand, leftward shift is a decrease in demand. So even though I have not changed the prices, it is due to other factors, right? Price elasticity of demand. The price elasticity of demand is nothing but the degree of consumer response with respect to price changes. Elasticity or relatively elastic, very low responsive to the price changes. Example, travel prices. Inelastic or relatively inelastic, no response or less response with respect to price changes. Basic food. So perfectly elastic. Even though small change in the price will result in the increase in much of demand. So small increase or in price will result in decrease in demand to zero. It happens when it is in the pure competition market. Price elasticity of demand formula, initial value basis, a midpoint basis. We use a midpoint basis. So the formula is change in quantity divided by change in quantity demand divided by change in price. Price elasticity of demand ante enti? Elasticity of demand is equal to change in quantity demand divided by change in price. Change in quantity demand allows the change in quantity divided by average quantity. Change in price allows the change in price divided by average price. Average allows the old plus new divided by 2. So ila. So if you calculate that thing, if it is equal to 1, it is unit elastic. That is percentage of change in demand is equal to percentage of change in price. If it is less than 1, it is relatively inelastic. Percentage of change in demand is less than percentage of change in price. So if it is 0, percentage of perfectly inelastic, percentage of change in demand is 0. So if it is greater than 1 percentage of change in demand, it is relatively elastic. Percentage of change in demand is greater than percentage of change in price. If it is infinity, perfectly elastic, change in demand is infinity. Percentage of change in, even though if it is slight change in price, the demand will change infinitely. So negative sign will be ignored. A business uses price elasticity of demand to determine sale price to maximize revenue. So for example, this is the things actually maximize revenue. So these are the things. At unit elastic, it is a very high total revenues. Total revenues. In case of elastic, inelastic, total revenue will decrease. So how will you take decision then? So if elasticity of demand differs, more elastic, high prices at lower quantity, less elastic, lower prices, high quality. Price increases in case of elastic product, revenue decreases. In case of inelastic products, revenue increases. So the decision is if your product is elastic, decrease the price to increase revenue. If your product is inelastic, increase price to increase revenue. So supply. Supply is nothing but when price increases, increase the supply. So this is a supply curve. So slope upwards, slope upwards, slope upwards, slope upwards. So shift of supply curve happens, more sellers entered into the market. So when more sellers enter into the market, then the shift is a positive shift. If it decreases from they go away from the market, then it becomes a negative shift to the supply. So factors affecting supply. Resources. So resources prices decrease, then the cost of production decrease, supply will increase. Technology upgradation, cost of production will decrease, then supply will increase. Tax and subsidies decrease the cost, then supply will increase. Price of the similar goods, so leads to increase in supply. Expectations of the price will increase, then supply will increase. Number of sellers increase, supply increase. Number of sellers decrease, supply decrease. So, in case of price increase, supply increase, there is no shift. Actually, number of producers increase, supply will increase, positive shift. Number of producers decrease, supply will decrease, negative shift. Government subsidies increase, supply will increase, positive shift. Government subsidies decrease, supply decrease అవుతుంది, negative shift. Technical advancement increase, supply increase అవుతుంది, positive shift. Technical advancements decrease అయితే supply decrease అవుతుంది, negative shift. Price expectations increase అయితే supply increase అవుతుంది, positive shift అమ్మా. Price expectations decrease అయితే supply decrease అవుతుంది, నెగిటివ్ షిఫ్ట్. ప్రొడక్షన్ కాస్ట్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయితే సప్లై డిక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది, నెగిటివ్ షిఫ్ట్. ప్రొడక్షన్ కాస్ట్ డిక్రీజ్ అయితే సప్లై ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది, పాజిటివ్ షిఫ్ట్. ప్రైస్ ఆఫ్ ది అదర్ గుడ్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయితే సప్లై డిక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది, నెగిటివ్ షిఫ్ట్. ప్రైస్ ఆఫ్ ది అదర్ గుడ్స్ డిక్రీజ్ అయితే సప్లై ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది, పాజిటివ్ షిఫ్ట్. సో ఇలా. So market equilibrium. The market equilibrium is nothing but the price where the supply and demand matches. The market equilibrium differs level of competition. Price in the short run, every firm acts as a monopoly and ignores the impact of other firms, and they tries to sell the fewer goods with the higher prices and leads to new net revenue increase. So in case of long run, they act as a competitive firms. Price equilibrium is a point where the supply and demand graphs match. So disequilibrium is nothing but the point where they don't match. If the point below the equilibrium is nothing but shortage of supply and excess demand, the point above the disequilibrium is temporary. Always market tries to match both supply and demand. There is a direct relationship between the shift. There is a direct relationship between shift in demand curve and the equilibrium price. Demand curve and equilibrium price ki direct relationship ఉంటుంది. Demand curve and equilibrium price ki direct relationship ఉంటుంది. Inverse relationship between the supply curve and equilibrium price. So but direct relationship with equilibrium quantity. Okay na? So this is the things. If the positive shift in the demand curve increase price ఇక్కడ చూడండి equilibrium price. So direct relationship కదా increase. అదే negative shift అయితే decrease. But quantity always increase. Positive shift in the supply curve, inverse relationship కదా, equilibrium price decrease. Negative shift అయితే increase. ఇదేమో increase decrease. ఓకేనా. సో ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ బోత్ షిఫ్ట్ రైట్ అంటే క్వాంటిటీ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది, ప్రైస్ ఇండిటర్మైన్. బోత్ షిఫ్ట్ లెఫ్ట్ అయితే క్వాంటిటీ డిక్రీజ్ అవుతుంది, ప్రైస్ ఇండిటర్మైన్. డిమాండ్ కర్వ్ లెఫ్ట్, సప్లై కర్వ్, డిమాండ్ కర్వ్ రైట్, సప్లై కర్వ్ రైట్ అయితే ఇది రైట్ కదా, రైట్ అంటే ఇంక్రీజ్, ఇస్ ఆల్వేస్ ఇంక్రీజ్ ఈక్విలిబ్రియం ప్రైస్. క్వాంటిటీ అన్డిటర్మైన్డ్. డిమాండ్ కర్వ్ లెఫ్ట్ అయితే డిక్రీజ్, సప్లై కర్వ్ రైట్ అయితే డిక్రీజ్ అనమాట. ఇది మనం ఆల్రెడీ డిస్కస్ చేసాం డిఫరెంట్ పాయింట్స్ లో. సో ఇదే మ్యాట్రిక్స్ అనమాట. ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇంటర్వెన్స్ అయినప్పుడు ఆల్ ది థింగ్స్ బీయింగ్ ఈక్వల్, సో ఓన్లీ ఇన్ అ ప్యూర్ మార్కెట్ అజ్యూమ్డ్ ఈ రిలేషన్షిప్ ఉంటుంది, సప్లై అండ్ డిమాండ్ ట్రూ రిలేషన్షిప్ ఉంటుంది. బట్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ అయితే మార్కెట్ స్టెబిలైజ్ చేయడానికి ఇంటర్వెన్స్ అయితే ఎకనామిక్ ట్రేడ్ పాలసీస్ ఏమైనా అప్లై చేస్తే దెన్ ద పాలసీస్ లైక్ అటెంప్ట్ టు హోల్డ్ ద ప్రైస్ డిసిక్విలిబ్రియం ప్రైస్. గవర్నమెంట్ ఏంటి డిసిక్విలిబ్రియం ప్రైస్ లో హోల్డ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటుంది. అప్పుడు మార్కెట్ ఈ రిలేషన్షిప్ అనేది ట్రూ అవ్వదు, లెజిస్లేషన్ అప్లై చేసిన గవర్నమెంట్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ అయినా, ఓకేనా, ఇంటర్వెన్షన్ అయినా. Cartels are the former agreement, so they between the competitors, among the competitors, fix the price and market production and supply. సో ఏంటి కార్టెల్స్ అక్కర్ స్మాల్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ సెల్లర్స్ హోమోజీనియస్ ప్రొడక్ట్స్ అప్పుడు కార్టెల్స్ అక్కర్ అవుతూ ఉంటాయి. జనరల్లీ కార్టెల్స్ ఆర్ డిజైన్ టు ఇంక్రీజ్ ప్రాఫిట్స్ అండ్ డిక్రీజ్ కాంపిటీషన్. టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ కార్టెల్స్ పబ్లిక్ అంటే గవర్నమెంట్ ఏజెన్సీస్ వల్ల అవుతుంది అండ్ ప్రొడక్ట్ లీగల్ యాక్షన్స్. ప్రైవేట్ అయితే ప్రైవేట్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ మధ్యలో ఉంటుంది అండ్ సబ్జెక్ట్ టు యాంటీ ట్రస్ట్ లా, బట్ మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది నేషన్స్ ఇది ప్రొహిబిట్ చేస్తుంది. సో దిస్ ఈస్ రిగార్డింగ్ కార్టెల్స్. సో ఇదమ్మా సిలబస్. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈస్ రిగార్డింగ్ లా ఆఫ్ డిమాండ్ అండ్ సప్లై. ఓకేనమ్మా, ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వండి. ఆల్ ది బెస్ట్, ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వండి.